This video is sponsored by Square Enix. If you want to learn more about the game, a link will be down below. Also, Gravel just released on February 27th. It's an off-road racing type of game. That will be coming to the channel very shortly, so keep your eye open for that. Alright, so welcome back to another Monster Energy Supercross, the official game video. We are checking out the track editor today. That's all we're going to really do is check out the track editor. If you haven't seen it yet, you can kind of get an idea of what it's like and whatnot. Now, I'm not going to use a speed camera. Instead, I'm just kind of editing things out. Here, you have to pick out your stadium. And I think I've done the diamond stadiums, but I haven't done the rectangular ones. So the one that we're going to do today is the large outdoor rectangular stadium. And then just for the sake of not having to wait, and so there's not all these load screens, we're going to transition right there to the actual stadium. And you start by picking out what kind of start straight you really want. And for this part of the video, I wasn't really thinking out what I want. I just kind of was going through things and showing you what you have. You have the corners, you have specials, which is like just the over under, the finish lines, the straights, the whoops, and the jumps. So those are your categories you can kind of choose from, and then you can pick and choose. You can get more in-depth in each category, basically. And if you mess up, you can go back really easily. You can just cancel back, or you can use the D-pad left or right to go back. So if you decide you're not happy with something after you've built a majority of the track, you can always go back with the D-pad and just, take that section out or change it to something else or whatever. If you have this big quad and it's just not working and you need to put it closer together or turn it into a triple, just go take it out and put it straight in front of it. It's really simple. But like I was saying, for this video, I didn't spend a lot of time on this track, and I didn't do any trial and error. It's really all about doing that. I'm not an advanced track creator or anything like that, and so for me, I really need to try to build something a little bit at a time and then go in and test it. As you can see, if you hit the square button, because we are playing on PS4. I don't know if I mentioned that. We are playing on PS4. If you hit the square, you can go test it. There's just a short load screen, and then you can go try it out, see if it works. If it doesn't, come back into the editor and whatnot. And there we edit into, we kind of pushed it forward to where it's a little bit farther along. And no, it's not like I really optimized all my space, and you can see there's tons of little jumps in there. And yeah, it's not exactly practical, but that's the fun thing about track editor, is that you can do whatever you want, and you can build these huge jumps where it's just a really, you can only have like 3 jumps on the track if you want, and just have a big run up to him and have 3 big jumps, and that's your track. Or you can have a track just of whoops, or just of corners, or insane, crazy technical rhythm sections, whatever. That's what's really cool about this. And this, just to me, this adds so much replay value, because you can go download other people's tracks too. You don't just have to make your own. So here we're going to transition into testing it out, actually. And again, it doesn't work very good because I didn't plan it out. Now, surprisingly, this quad worked out like just right, like perfect. And then this section of whoops here, I'm okay with it, because we do go around twice, and that time, well, both times it works, and we get a different timing down for the second lap. So it does work decent enough. This section and the next one, I think, are where we really suffer, because we really overjump that, and then just, you're kind of, there's so many jumps in this straightaway here in this rhythm section. It's hard to get back into a flow. Actually, I didn't even notice that. We did kind of get back into a flow a little bit, and then there's some corners here, and then this next rhythm section coming up really was tough. But you see what I mean, where, okay, that first rhythm section, that was a bit much. If I was taking my time and not, planning it out a little bit better, I would have tested that section. I would have put, if I wanted to, I would have done the same thing. Let's say we put all those jumps in there, go test it, come back, and just cancel out what you want. We can add straightaway if we need more run or whatever, and take out some of those other ones. Because the tough thing about that, having that kind of a rhythm section, when you get out of control and you lose your rhythm, it's really, really hard to kind of get back into your rhythm. Because there is a preload in the game. If you're familiar with MXGP 3 games or 2 or 1, just MXGP games, there's always a really subtle preload, but it's not like you can, when you get really out of control, it's not like you can just preload your way back out of it. it's kind of difficult. So when you get out of rhythm, it's really tough. And then I didn't even know this, but we actually hopped to that next table and kind of had the same line. But that section, even though it's not realistic really because it's too big and you're just flat landing to the top of a table, but it actually kind of, you know, kind of works a little bit better than I thought. I don't think I can quad that. I mean, I guess we kind of did, but I don't know. It was more of a case than anything, and then it just butchered through this section. It's really, really tough to get going, like I was saying. So if I was gonna go back and do it, I would have probably taken out about half of that rhythm section and changed it into something else. Maybe thrown in a triple or whatever. They do have preset triples. They do have 3 different types of whoops. They have like the half whoop, the high whoop, and the low whoop. They have a bunch of different types of jumps. Dragon's back. They have tons of different tables. Almost way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Way more different options of corners and angles, degree of angles of these corners. So the track maker is a lot more in-depth than I thought it was going to be when I first heard there was going to be a track creator. And then here this is the track that I built before doing the video. So I'd say the day before actually doing this video, I spent maybe an hour, maybe a little longer, an hour making it, I'd say. And what I did was, again, I know I keep saying this, but that's what I did. Aside from right off the starting gate, there's a big section of whoops. Aside from that, every single section after that, I would build it and then test it. And then I kind of wanted to show you that there is 3 different camera angles also when you're doing track editor, which is really cool. I use the top-down one the most, but this one, this 3D version here, I do use this quite a bit because it kind of gives you an idea. You can gauge, okay, is this going to be too far? Does this look right? I do use this camera angle pretty often. Now the other one is basically the same. It's just a lot closer. It's a lot more zoomed in. And I guess if you're trying to go for hardcore precision, maybe you can use that one. And the other thing I want to mention before we get out of this is when you're building the track, it has to connect back. So, well, it doesn't have to, but if you want to confirm it and validate it, it's going to have to connect back through the start straight somehow. See it's blue right now. I could confirm it and then validate it if I wanted to, but I didn't want to because I wanted to keep working on it and whatnot. So it has to connect back somehow. But you can cut across the start straight as much as you want, I think. Well, within reason, and it just has to tie together somehow. So somehow it has to tie together, and you have to put a finish line. I mean, those are like two or three things you have to do. And then we're going to run a couple laps on this track. Now, it's a fairly generic track. It's not like it's amazing or anything, but I wanted to just put together something that at least had a little bit of flow and connected together. Because that last one, I mean, I put that together while doing the video, basically. This one I tried thinking out and testing and whatnot. And I'd say this jump right here is probably the hardest one for me. From that run, I just barely get over that. I mean, we got over it just about right there, but, you know. And this section's probably the most unrealistic section because, I don't know, it just feels a little unrealistic. But here I wanted to put that little hip, I guess, in there to kind of slow people down a little bit, because otherwise I think you're just carrying too much speed through that section. Here's a big triple, and then this, I don't really know what I was doing here, but it ended up working anyways, kind of doubling off that and then double again, and then a big triple. So this is the track that I kind of built. Like I said, it's nothing amazing. I should spend more time on it if I was going to try to make something really cool, but it does take time, and I assume after you've done it, you know, a few times, I was gonna say multiple times, but a few times, you're gonna get better at it, and you're gonna kind of have an idea of, okay, if I put it about here, it should work, and then you'll become a expert track maker, which I most definitely am not. But it's fun. It's really fun, man. I actually had a lot of fun building it. I'd say I had just as much fun building it as I did testing it out and seeing how well it was going to work, because there's just so many combinations. They did a really, really good job with not making it so generic. It's way, way, way more in depth than I thought it was going to be, and the possibilities there's way more possibilities than I thought there would be, on top of the fact that I didn't think they were going to give us 8 different stadiums. I know they mentioned that in their trailer, but I don't know, it's a lot more specific than I thought it was going to be. So they did a really good job on it, and I think this is one of the most awesome parts about the game. The game's awesome in general, but just having this track creator is something that I can see myself playing a lot of, and downloading other people's tracks. So yeah, really cool. I think that's going to do it for this video. If you do end up making a track and you want me to check it out, and maybe I'll do a video on some of the best ones, let me know in the comments or on my Twitter. Send me a tweet and let me know what your track's called, and I will try to download it and check it out, and maybe we can sneak it into a video if it's one of the better ones. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really means a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.